Hey guys, how's it going? This is Lavelle Miller here with the Wide World of Velle podcast. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've been able to talk to you guys in regards to the world of mixed martial arts or other different things. I know you guys been probably checking out my Big Man Technique of the Week videos, but I needed to get back to my MMA information as well, and then I'll also be in the future giving you guys some other content as well. But for this one, it'll be the UFC 228 preview show. Trying to make it short and sweet in regards of the events that are happening tomorrow, September 8th, in Dallas, Texas. Woodley versus Till for the UFC 170-pound welterweight title. A few housekeeping notes in regards to that. Nico Montano will not be defending her flyweight title versus Valentina Shevchenko. In the middle of her weight cut, the UFC had advised that Nico needed to stop and go to the hospital and check everything out with her. Valentina was pulled off the card as well. As of right now, it's not known if they'll be scheduled for a later date or not. Valentina believes that this is not a serious health issue and there's something else going on in regards of why she got pulled off the card. All week she had been saying that she did not believe she was going to actually fight Nico until they got into the octagon. She believes Nico is scared of her for whatever reason. And if you are an actual MMA fighter, it's kind of absurd for anybody to believe that you're scared to fight another person, especially if you have done it before. And she was the 14th seed in the series of Tough for the flyweight title, and she ended up winning it. So it's not like she's necessarily scared of anybody. But there's that. And then there was some weigh-in drama in regards to Tyron Woodley and Zabit Magomedsharipov. Both men did make weight. However, in the regards of Zabit weighed in initially at 147 pounds. They had him drop his drawers. Then they said he weighed 146.5, and then a few moments later said he weighed 146. They confused a lot of people because it was like, how did he drop a whole pound in a short amount of time after he weighed 146.5, stepped off the scale, and then they said, no, it was actually 146, clearing him to fight without having to cut any more weight. Tyron Woodley, same thing. He weighed 171 pounds. He looked at the commission, kind of confused, stepped off the scale, dropped his jaw, stepped right back on, weighed 170 pounds, even cleared the fight. Darren Till, the person that they was wondering was they going to make weight all week long, all the time building up to the fight, weighed in at 169 pounds and gave the double fingers to all the haters out there who didn't think he was going to make weight. So we will now continue to the card. There's now 13 fights overall. I will just mostly cover the main card and give you a couple fights that are worth checking out that will be on the FX portion, not FS1, not FS2, like they normally are. They will be on FX to watch. There's also going to be some good fights that is on the UFC Fight Pass portion, and this is also probably getting to the deepest portion of UFC Fight Pass. They normally don't have this many fights on the preliminary cards, but I'm sure a lot of time constraints have a lot to do with that now since college football and everything like that is back. So, covering first the main card. The main card starts off, because like I said, there was some shuffling going on when they pulled the co-main event versus Montano versus Shevchenko, is Abdul Razak Alashan versus Nico Price. Both these guys are in the welterweight division. Both these guys got great power in their hands. Abdul is coming off 2 first-round knockouts in the UFC. He knocked out actually the same guy twice. He knocked the guy out, and the guy believed that there was some controversy in the first time that they fought, and so he asked to run it back, and he was obliged, And when they ran it back, he was finished in more or less the same fashion. So he realized really quickly it was not a fluke that he got finished like that. It was Sabad Homicide, I believe that's how you say his name. The only time that Abdul has lost in the UFC is when he fought Omar Akhmedov. That's another strong UFC welterweight. He got out wrestled into a split decision loss when he fought him. But besides that, all of his wins have came in the first round by knockout. And when it comes to Nico Price is another guy, like I said, that's going to bring it. I believe this fight probably won't make it outside of the first round or the first two, because these guys throw hands like no other at each other. And his only loss was Vicente Luque in the second round. He lost by Darce choke. Vicente Luque ain't no joke. If you guys watch The Ultimate Fighter, he was on the Black Zillions versus American Top Team edition of that, and he, did fairly well. He didn't win it all. He ended up losing in the quarterfinals, I do believe, semifinals, something like that. But anyway, Vicente Luque, that is. But he has a nice mix of knockouts, and he has one submission win in the UFC so far, and that's actually two submission wins in the UFC so far. That is for Nico Price, coming in the first and second round. He hasn't been outside the second round since he's been in the UFC. So, with Abdul and Nico Price, that is a great fight to start off the main card, and definitely will be action-packed from the start. And how it looks here, if Nico is able to take it down to the ground, he will probably get the job done by submission. He has more ways to win, it seems, because all of Abdul's wins have been by first round knockout. Now, mind you, if you look at it that way, he's only been outside the first round one time and he lost. So who knows? He may have a lot to be able to bring to the table. But then again, he may just be a one-trick pony when it comes to that right hand. So let's just see how this fight goes. Very interesting fight. It was a fight that was originally on the preliminary card. It's a great fight now that's been moved up to be on the main card with a lot of the deck shuffling that went on. So then after that, we move up to the bantamweight division. Jimmy Rivera versus John Dodson. Jimmy Rivera is probably not too happy about having to take this fight, and that's because he is very adamant that he deserves a title shot, because he has a few wins in the UFC, but what ended up happening to him is he ran into that buzzsaw that is Marlon Moraes and got caught with a left hook and got put to sleep. So he ended up, was on this big run, then got kicked in the head. Sorry, it was a left kick, not a left hook. On the middle of a switch, got hit with that, got finished. Then, this is after he beat Thomas Almeida, believing that he did enough to warrant a title shot, and didn't get it. And now he's having to take a step back fighting John Dodson. And not only is he fighting John Dodson is probably in the rankings, probably 3 or 4 fighters below him. And so John Dodson is the one that actually has the advantage at this point. And John Dodson is coming off of a win, I do believe. Yeah, it beat Pedro Munoz by split decision. He's also lost to Marlon Moraes by split decision in November of 2017. So both these guys have had that in common in regards of opponents. I do believe Jimmy Rivera will get this done. John Dodson since he's moved up to bantamweight, since he doesn't have to worry about the weight cut to flyweight, you thought a lot of his power would translate up, and that was true when he fought Manvel Gambarian. He finished him really fast, and we was thinking, oh, okay, this is good. Then he has alternated wins and losses since he has went up. So his power that we thought he really had seemed to be not as true as we thought. And Jimmy Rivera, Tiger Showman guy, he fights very smart. He's going to mix up his wrestling, his kicks, his boxing. He's going to stay at distance. He's not going to be drawn into a dogfight, which is a dogfight that John Dodson is just not going to do as well. John Dodson is also really fast, and he doesn't really seem to use his speed as much as I think he should. He'll use it to get out of a bad situation, or if he needs to finish a guy off, he'll, when he comes in with the blitz, he'll come in with the fast hands, in and out, but he won't initiate a combo with speed. Like if he'll see an opening, he'll throw a fast 1-2, and then he'll stop. Or he'll throw fast overhand, and he'll stop, or he'll just sit there and he'll throw to the speed of his opponents. And he should, probably try to mix in a little bit of wrestling. Probably not in this fight versus Jimmy Rivera, but maybe in a couple of future fights. But I think if he watches how Marlon Moraes was able to catch Jimmy Rivera so easily with that head kick, because he set him up with it. It's the same way that Marlon Moraes was able to set up Aljamain Sterling. Now, John Dodson doesn't throw head kicks like that, but he does throw fast uppercuts. He can set it up in the same way where he can possibly fake a hook and then throw the uppercut, because he is a southpaw, so he would be coming from the side. He won't have to worry about, there's no switch or anything like that. He will be a southpaw, so they'll both be staring down the person's power side as they're sitting there, in regards of them trying to circle back and forth. So he will be able to sit there and fake that straight and turn it to a shovel. Catch him as he's trying to come in, attack the body, attack the lead leg, because Jimmy does kind of stand out there, and he does like to throw a lot of lead leg kicks. Not something that John does tend to get hit a lot with, but because of his speed, he'll be able to get in and out a lot faster. John might need to throw in some lead leg kicks as well. You can't really see, John doesn't really look like he's improving much at all. It's more or less like he went up to bantamweight, so he didn't have to cut because he already fought Demetrius twice and lost. I don't know if it's a situation to where he's like, I'm done cutting now, or maybe he's possibly thinking, since Henry Cejudo has won the title, maybe he needs to slide back down there and get another title fight, because if DJ has to have surgery because his LCL is torn, and then he has possibly an Achilles tear as well, he might want to check that out, snatch a title when he has the opportunity. But for this fight, Jimmy Rivera mixes a lot of things well together. And because he mixes a lot of things well together, I do believe he'll be able to get the decision. He doesn't have a tendency to get caught like he did when Marlon fought him. But, who knows? Maybe John has been working on a few things. I don't think John wants to get in a wrestling match in regards to Jimmy Rivera, but I don't think John has a lot of options in regards of winning this fight. So this next fight here is a fight that a lot of folks are not high on per se, but they're high on a fighter that is involved in this fight. And that fighter is Zabit Magomed Sharipov. who was originally supposed to fight Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez ended up having to pull out of the fight for some injury. So he had a short notice replacement named Brandon Davis. Brandon Davis is coming off of a loss. He fought in May versus Enrique Barloza. He has not really fought anybody of noting. So this is just pretty much a showcase fight for Zabit. So Zabit could go out and does what Zabit does. Zabit is he's lost one fight only, and that was way back in the beginning of his career. He's undefeated in the UFC, and as a matter of fact, I'm just seeing this here. Zabit and Brandon Davis have a like opponent in Kyle Bochniak. Kyle Bochniak was Zabit's last opponent that he beat by unanimous decision. They won Fight of the Night honors for that fight. Zabit hasn't actually fought anybody of notice since he's been in the UFC. They've kind of did the same thing like they do normally to a lot of new fighters. Let them come in, let them try a lot of stuff, let them do a lot of different things, so people can, get to know them, know who they are before they mix them in there. So him versus Yair would have been actually a great fight with their fighting styles. I would have actually loved to see that matchup. But with this fight, not much to say here. I believe Zabit will get it done. He'll probably finish Brandon Davis. Brandon Davis looks like he's a tough guy. It doesn't look like he's only been finished one time in his whole MMA career. But Zabit has such a diverse skill set in regards of the takedowns and the striking. What I would like to see from Zabit in this fight is actually him breaking the opponent down, seeing what he does wrong, and capitalize on it. When I've noticed in a lot of Zabit fights is he does capitalize on the mistakes his opponent does. Obviously, that's why he's been able to finish them. But he will go for a lot of these fancy spinning attacks and spinning moves that he doesn't need to do at all, and they're going to waste his energy. And you can see that when he fought Kyle Bochniak, he got tired and ended up losing, I believe, the third round on one judge's scorecard at least. So, and Kyle Bochniak was there in his face. He wasn't tired. So when he ends up fighting some of these higher level guys who will not get tired with him, that is going to be an issue. Like, so if he fought Yair, for example, if he fought Yair and he wasn't able to take Yair down, which is I doubt, I'm sure he probably would have been at least once or twice. But when they start off at that kicking range, Yair is willing to exchange with you with these flashy Taekwondo techniques. So if he's going to be willing to exchange with you with these flashy Taekwondo techniques, and you seem to have the tendency to gas and he doesn't, you're going to be the one that's end up getting caught. So when he fights Brandon Davis as a short notice guy, what I would like to see for him to do is to break him down, throw some flash in there every so often if you feel like you need to, or if you see that it's there, that you believe it has a, at least a 40% chance to land, but don't waste a ton of energy on it and risk losing to a guy that is really another showcase fighter for you, since you lost a guy that can actually validate your next steps. So Zabit should get this done. Zabit should get the win fairly easily. So the new co-main event is Karolina Kowalkiewicz, however I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure I am, is fighting against Jessica Andrade. Both of these ladies have fought for the UFC strawweight title, both against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and the now former champion, both coming up short in decisions. Karolina, claim to fame, if you want to call it that, she is actually the last person to beat Rose Namajunas, and it was a split decision victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. She's also after 2 wins in a row, she wins this fight. She's probably definitely the next in line to fight Rose for the title. And then Jessica Andrade is also on a win streak. She's beat Claudia Gadelha and Tisha Torres, and both those ladies she beat the brakes off of. After about giving up a round and a half, she turned it on something ridiculous in both those fights in regards of being able strong power wrestling and vicious ground and pound. And she also has great submissions as well. So she's not just a power wrestler, brawler, even though that's her style where she's sits there and she does a lot of fast hooks. A lot of people try to compare her as the female version of John Lineker because they both sit there, chin down, and throw a lot of fast hooks at you the whole time. Keep marching forward no matter what happens, which is very true. But she has a lot more tools to offer versus John. John is going to stand and bang. Jessica is going to go for the takedown if she sees it, and she can stay on top. She can lay down, ground and pound, and she can get the submission if she wants to. She has a very, very nice guillotine. Carolina has very nice stand-up. She does have issues when she goes against people who can grapple against her. Like when she went against Claudia took her down pretty much with no issues, got her back, choked her with no problem. But she does do well in regards to the striking. She does have a good chin. She'll be there the entire time that they are fighting. But I don't know that she'll be able to handle the pace that Jessica puts on. And that's another thing too. People would think with Jessica's style, she gets tired. She doesn't get tired. If you all have watched the fight when she fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Joanna was putting it on Jessica, and she still marched forward the entire time she was getting hit in the face. And a lot of times you see people start back up or retreat or slow down. She didn't do any of those. She kept going the entire time. So this will be a great fight to see how it goes. I actually favor Jessica Andrade highly in this because Carolina does not have knockout power. She's not gonna offer anything that's going to stop Jessica from coming forward. Now, mind you, this is the strawweight division, so a lot of the women don't have anything one punch wise or any combination wise that's going to stop her from coming forward. But when she gets a hold of somebody and she takes them down, it's like Ragdoll City. She's super aggressive when it comes to the takedowns, and she brings it from the time they say go to the time they say stop. And now we will get to the fight that everybody has been waiting for, and that'll be Tyron Woodley versus Darren Till. So with this fight, Woodley versus Till, Darren Till has a very big, he's a Muay Thai base. He likes to stand up tall. More or less, he's out here like this, as you see, just like how he stood in the face offs. I can't even get my words right tonight. In the face offs, that way if you can kind of see here, he's got that kind of distance. Use that elbow to judge how far you are away from him. You can't really come in and connect a punch. That will be very successful against a shorter fighter like Tyron Woodley. He has big legs for the weight class. He does a lot of good kicks to the body, kicks to the leg, knees for people that's trying to come in on him to try to shorten the distance up. He likes to move forward. Does a lot of good stuff in combination. Always angles off after he strikes. But we haven't really seen him tested heavily in the wrestling department as he's been in the UFC. He did come recently off his win versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Depending on how you feel about that fight, people feel like Wonderboy won, but the decision went to Till. Till was at his home, so you know that is what it is at that point. Um, he does have a submission. He has two submission wins to his record. Oh, of course, there was ages ago, back when he was in Brazil. Uh, but this is, I mean, he did have this, so this is a, so he may actually have a little bit of ground game. I mean, who really knows? But like I said, he hasn't really fought anybody who is going to test him in the wrestling department like a Tyron Woodley can and will. Tyron Woodley, um, he has, he's probably, and it's still, you know, people are getting confused about his abilities or what he can and cannot do. He's 36 years old, right? But he's still one of the stronger, faster guys in the welterweight division. He can put somebody out with one shot. He's done it before. All-American wrestler. You know, these are things you can't take away from him. He can get the takedown on pretty much anybody if he wanted to. Now, what happens is when he fights Till, his game plan has to change. He likes to fight with his back against the fence and behind the black lines because it's like the same way that a lot of other fighters who are built the same as him like to fight. Because when they blitz and when they want to create any action, they want to go the full length of the cage. They don't want the cage to stop them. So if you start off in the middle and you start your attack, a person is able to get their back to the fence right away. If you don't want to clinch and cause all that that grappling and stuff like that, if that's not where you're ready to start the wrestling the part of the fight at, now you are having to back up and reset. When you are at the cage, I can initiate my whole attack, and then now when I'm backing up, I'm back in a position that I want to be, and you now have to decide what are you going to do on the way you're coming out. Then I can see and time my cues of how I'm going to react to what you're doing. But the problem with that is with Till being such a bigger person, and he's a bigger, thicker guy versus when he did this against Wonder Boy. Till likes going forward. Wonder Boy kind of likes to play in the intermediate range. He likes to counter strike. Till does not. Till would like to be going forward. Till doesn't mind going forward. So if Woodley's backing up and he's going his back against the fence, he can get picked apart the entire time his back is against the fence without being able to land a shot because Till will just keep him at range with his kicks and with his straights and his jab the entire time that they're fighting. So Woodley would then have to circle off and then try to figure out what he's going to do from there. So the key to victory for Till would be force Woodley to back up, strike, but I would not force Woodley to get his back all the way against the fence. Because when Woodley recognizes he's all the way against the fence, that's when he wants to generate his offense recently. Now, when he fought Robbie Lawler, he didn't do that because Robbie Lawler, that's his style. That's what he wanted to do. So he wanted to take that away from Robbie as much as he could by not letting Robbie be able to have time to reset, by forcing him to fight in the middle of the octagon by the time he was able to set up that blitzing right hand by coming back and resetting and doing the same thing over and over and over again from the middle of the cage versus letting Robbie get to the back, his back against the fence, and let him do that. So he can fight in the middle. He's probably one of the smartest guys in the welterweight division or the UFC in regards of his fight IQ. So he will be able to recognize that. So what Till would do, once again, is probably keep him near the black lines, but not all the way behind the black lines to where Woodley can't advance his whole attack the way he needs to. Because Till is still going to always have that length that where if you look like you're the most active, even if you're not landing good, you're probably going to end up winning the fight. Especially if you keep your kicks low, them oblique kicks, low kicks to the calf, things along that line that Woodley can't just grab and take you down at, you're good. You start kicking at his thigh or at his waist or at his head, then you leave yourself subject to takedown. And if you get taken down, you have to ask yourself, I don't care who you've been training with, but unless you've been training with guys that are on Woodley's level, regards of wrestling, or some really good jiu-jitsu players who have taught you some good sweeps and stand-ups, if he's on top of you, can you get up? Because if you can't, you don't need to play that game. And Willie won't make the same mistake twice like he did when he burned his arms out when he fought Thompson the first time, when he went for the guillotine, when he should have just kept grounding and pounding because he probably would have finished him. And if I was Woodley, what I would do is, because with the Muay Thai style, you stand up straight, all right, like I said, and your arms are out like this, and you have that long area to attack, right? Till cuts from near 205 to make 170. So what does that mean? That means everything in the middle is dehydrated. It doesn't matter how much water he drinks tonight. It doesn't matter how much food he drinks tonight. It's going to be dehydrated when it comes fight time. So now that's his overall target. And plus he does have a long torso. So that does make it a little bit easier to target. So what do I need to do? I do need to make that tired. I can make that tired by grappling, right? But I need to set up my takedown. Now, Woodley hasn't used his wrestling a lot. That doesn't mean he doesn't have it. But how does he want to go about that? Well, what's the easiest thing to do when you have that guy with that Muay Thai style who has a lead leg that always sticks out there? Attack the lead leg. Now, how do you want to attack the lead leg? Now, once again, since you are going against a guy who is Muay Thai based, he's probably not going to take you down. He's probably not going to try to take you down. So what I would do is I'm attacking the calf. I'm attacking his thigh. I can throw kicks towards his midsection. I can throw punches towards his midsection. I can throw as much stuff as I want. I can fake the overhand and then come in with that left hook to the body. I could sit there and land the overhand if I really wanted to. Just hit his arms up top and then hit him with it into the body. I can sit there and just keep touching his leg to let him know that his leg is close enough for me to grab. I can grab whenever I want. I can always fake a takedown with almost every shot. Try to recognize if he's going to come up with a knee. If I'm going for the takedown, which knees he's trying to lead with. If I'm shooting the single to the outside, is he going to try to angle off and then fire his because Till is a southpaw? Is he going to try to fire his angle off and switch and then catch me with his left knee? Or does he feel confident just throwing his right knee straight up? Or is he going to just pull his his right leg straight back? There's a lot of different various things that Woodley will need to analyze and try to catch really fast in that fight. I think at this point it's too much for Till to try to figure out, because I don't know about Till's wrestling. I know how good Woodley's wrestling is, even if Woodley presses him against the cage and holds him against the cage the entire time, and makes it, I don't care how much people say it's boring enough fight, because if I hold you against a cage and you can't get off the cage, that's your problem. That's not mine. That's not the ref's problem. That's not the fans' problem, because you're not in there. It's just me and him. We're the ones that are actually fighting. So I would lean this way towards Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley has been disrespected multiple times as being a champion. This is, I think, the 7th out of his last 10 fights. He has been named the underdog. And I think 3 out of the last 4 times as the actual champion, he has been labeled as the underdog. So, yeah, I'll turn it on in a second, son. Go lay down.
No, it's right on Papa Pig.
Okay. Go lay down.
And burger, chicken, that, like it, pops.
Okay. Go lay down. All right. Sorry about that, but daddy duty does not wait, not even for podcasts. So, anyway, with that being said, um, I lean towards Woodley to get this done by decision. I don't believe there'll be a submission or a knockout. And if I would say if there was a knockout, I probably would um, go with Till on that portion because I believe it would be something standing. It wouldn't be ground and pound wise because I believe that if Woodley got him down, um, it'll be a lot to navigate because of the length of the body, and Till might be surprisingly flexible. Um, so, but so Woodley for the win to be and still. So, this went a little bit longer than what I did expect, but I will throw these two things in. So, two things that well, actually, it's going to be more than two. Four things that are, oh man, maybe even five. Five things that'll be interesting to mention. So, fights to watch, and these two are easy because they're free. Carla Esparza versus Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez may also be looking for a title shot as well if she ends up beating Carla Esparza. This will be a battle of two wrestlers. Tatiana Suarez did wrestle on the U.S. level. I believe Carla Esparza did as well too. So it'll be interesting to see how does that fight play out. Tatiana Suarez has done great since she won the strawweight Ultimate Fighter. I forgot what's the name of that season it was. I believe that was the Gadelia Jacek season, if I'm not mistaken. Can't really remember. But anyway, she's been on a tear since she's been back. Or not been back, but since she's been part of the UFC. So that'll be a great fight. I thought Carla Esparza, she actually fought Claudia Gadelha. I thought she beat Claudia Gadelha when she fought her last. But, you know, it is what it is type thing. And so now she's being fed to a young, hungry lioness. So that'd be a great fight to watch. And that's the preliminary main event. And then directly under that, their co-main is Aljamain Sterling versus Cody Stanman. Aljamain Sterling, like I said, last time I believe we saw him. Actually, last time we saw him, he fought Brett Johns, I do believe. And a very impressive showing. Completely outclassed that man. I thought Brett Johns was going to have a lot more to offer. Yeah, it was Brett Johns. And that was after he got knocked out by Marlon Moraes with a vicious knee. Everybody probably saw that meme that he made of him doing the dab after he got KO'd. But great fight. When he fought Brett Johns. Did everything he needed to do. Wrestling, striking, everything. Cody Stanman has been putting on a clinic against his guys wrestling. He made some statements recently saying that he is going to knock out Aljo based off of some other statements that he did make. But he's coming off of 2 split decision wins. He hasn't knocked out anybody since he's been in the UFC because he has out wrestled all the guys. That'll be a definite fight to watch. Aljo is giving a shot to up and comer, and Cody Stanman is like, "What are you gonna do to take the shot?" That's how it both is on the A sides of Carla Esparza and Aljamain Sterling giving the shots to the up and comers Tatiana Suarez and Cody Stanman in their respective bouts. So there goes them. If you have UFC Fight Pass, Diego Sanchez is fighting again against his short notice replacement guy Craig White. Don't know much about the guy Craig White. He's fought in the UFC once, I believe, already, and it did not go his way. I believe he doesn't have many knockouts on his record. I do know that. So Diego, which everybody knows he is having a fading chin. Retirement talks are always happening around him. We'll see what happens with that. Jim Miller is fighting Alex White. Jim Miller has also lost his last 5 fights. Uh, you know, the UFC, they have respect for their vets that put in the time and grind. So they keep giving them guys, and uh, Diego, I do believe, has a better chance of winning than Jim does because Jim's chin is fading. Um, if you are going to continue to allow Jim Miller to fight, I honestly believe you need to put him against people who are going to wrestle him. Let Jim use his black belt. Same thing with Diego. Let him go against people who are coming out to wrestle him. Let them use their black belts. Not put them against guys who are going to come out there and have shown knockout power. Like put them against the Ryan Halls of the world. Even though Ryan Hall, jiu-jitsu is like probably 20 times better than them. And a lot of you guys probably haven't even heard of Ryan Hall because the UFC hasn't used him since he fought Gray Maynard in 2016, December 2016. But anyway, and if you don't follow the grappling circuit, you wouldn't know who he is either. But anyway, that's a fight that's how I believed. If you're going to use them, that's who they should be fighting. They shouldn't be fighting with anybody who has the ability to put them to sleep. And then just throwing this out there, not because of who he's fighting or whatever. Jared Brooks is fighting again. Jared Brooks is the guy who knocked himself out the last time he was out by trying to go for a double leg on somebody, and for whatever reason decided it'd be good to just jump in there and slam the guy because that never works. So I appreciate you guys checking this out. This is a lot longer than what I did intend for the video. You guys probably, like I said, you heard my son walk in because, like I said, kids don't understand the podcast, but you know what? I love them though, and so I'm about to go check on his Peppa Pig as he did request as he's getting ready to go to sleep. So, want to say thank you guys for checking out the video, and other few things. If you are in the Middle Tennessee area, check out Nutrition Factory. They are in Hendersonville, Nashville, Smyrna, Murfreesboro. And if you can't just stop on by, check them out for your supplements. They also are online, nutritionfactory.com. And the factory is spelled with a K, FAKTORY.com, nutritionfactory.com. And have some of the lowest prices for all your supplement needs there. Get my stuff from there. Got great stuff. If you are looking for gis, you need some rash guards or anything like that, BJJ shorts, go to breakpointfc.com. Check them out as well. If you are looking for some new shades, watches, or looking for a gift for somebody else, go to thevancewatchgroup.com and check them out. See what they got there. Free shipping on all their orders. So, you don't get that a lot of places. Free shipping, great customer service, great people there. So, check out those 3 places. They definitely got stuff for what you need, covering all bases for you guys here. Also, for the fallen ones, throw this out there where one of my friends' local businesses. If you are looking for to support local law enforcement, I'm sorry, not local law enforcement, but if you're looking to support police officers who have died in the line of duty, any patch that you buy, a percentage of that goes to support a fallen officer's family. So I'm sure a lot of you guys want to check that out as well. I'm a veteran of the United States Army where I served as a military police officer. So both of those lines go well for me. So once again, thank you guys for checking out this podcast. This is how you become legendary and greatness is earned.